Hello everyone! Last year my friend Bibiliciouss won the European Silph Arena Championship and I made a little video about it, and this year he managed to win once again, so of course I wanted to cover his tournament again. Winning twice in a row is an incredible feat, cementing him as one of the absolute best players of all time. In this video I will show you one battle from every opponent that he faced in the Continental Championship. The format used can be summarized as Open Great League, but no Pokemon in the team of 8 can share a typing with another, and in every battle both players get to ban 2 Pokemon from the other player's team. So now let's have a look at the battles. So first up is a game against Lorenzo Löw, and Lorenzo leads with a Medicham against Bibi's Altaria. And here, right in the beginning, you will see a very interesting play that Bibi catches the first Ice Punch onto Umbreon. Even though his backline is weak to Medicham, he still prefers to keep the Altaria healthy, and this is because the Altaria is completely clean against Lorenzo's team. There is no counter to it. So he knows that Altaria will be a key factor to win this game, so he rather used the Umbreon as basically an extra shield for Altaria. So here we are in the Umbreon mirror, nothing interesting happens really, just spamming last resorts on both ends, and then Bibi has some excess energy on his Umbreon and switches out back to Altaria, and this is because Altaria is just safe against anything that Lorenzo can do. So Lorenzo comes in with a Lickitung, and now Bibi knows the entire team of Lorenzo, so he can start planning on how he wants to win this game. And here you will see Bibi starts to shielding the Altaria because he wants to farm down completely. If he lets Altaria go down, then none of the Pokemon in the back can easily deal with this Lickitung because they don't have any fast move pressure at all, so they would need to throw, and the Lickitung had 2 shields, so that would be pretty hard to deal with actually. Bibi caught that Ice Punch on Lickitung immediately because he knew that Medicham had farmed up some extra energy, and then Lorenzo comes in with Umbreon again, and Bibi just times his body slams perfectly here. Lorenzo goes for another foul play, and then Bibi makes 8 more licks before throwing the body slam, and Umbreon goes down. So now Lorenzo just have faith in his Medicham to win this with 2 shields, but with a lot of extra energy on all 3 of Bibi's Pokemon, he's going to start spamming charge moves. Lorenzo goes for an Ice Punch because he was scared of getting hit with another move, and now you see that the game timer is up. So as soon as it hits 10 seconds, Bibi goes in with Umbreon, makes a foul play, and then it's time's up. And because Bibi has 2 surviving Pokemon, he wins the game. Moving on to the next game against EJB, and if you look at the bans, you can see that once again Bibi bans the Steel type and the Fire type so that Altaria is super safe to bring, and once again, just like last game, he catches the first charge move on something in the back so that Altaria stays at basically full health because he knows that Altaria is very clean. The opponent comes in with Venusaur and goes for a Frenzy Plant, but Lickitung is so tanky that it's not only able to reach 1 body slam, it's able to reach 2 body slams. And to not lose both all of this energy on his Venusaur and switch advantage, EJB is kind of forced to shield. So now Bibi comes back in with his Altaria, and the Sludge Bomb connects, and then Bibi has to throw his Sky Attack so that the Venusaur does not reach another charge move. And then a Lantern comes back in, and now in this position, it would have been great to have Charm on the Alolan Ninetales in the back, but Bibi is actually carrying Powder Snow, so he cannot switch into the Alolan Ninetales because it would be a disaster against the Lantern. And then Lantern is just able to survive to another Surf, so might have been a slight misplay there to throw the Sky Attack instead of Moonblast to take out the Lantern. But anyways, Bibi has forced both of the shields from EJB, and he carries Dazzling Gleam on the Ninetales, so there is no way for EJB to come back in this game. So Dazzling Gleam one-shots, and then it's just a short farm down on the Lantern. Moving on to the next game, and it's against Inadequance, and once again Bibi likes the Altaria lead, and he goes up against the Medicham. So this time around he's not going to catch the first charge move. It might be because he expected Inadequance to throw at 7, or just because Altaria is not as dominant as it was in previous rounds because of that Skarmory. So now, my guess why he goes into Alola Ninetales here is because he does not want to have it against an eventual Politoed in the back and get hard countered. That's why he kind of sacrifices this Alola Ninetales, because it's the Pokemon that has the highest risk of being hard countered. But then he's just not able to reach the Weather Ball, and now he's in a very rough position, because a 2-shielded Medicham can almost sweep his entire team. And then the opponent goes into Skarmory, so it's very, very rough here for Bibiliciouss. But Skarmory is actually not that tanky when up against a 1-turn fast move. So when Licks deals 2 damage, it's much more damage than 2 damage against, for example, Altaria, that has a lot of more HP than Skarmory, because Skarmory is such defense weighted. So he's able to farm down all the way and has a lot of energy on this Lickitung. So he's going to force a shield, and then he really hopes that Inadequence is not going to shield this, because if he does, then he can farm down and easily beat the Altaria. But he's letting it go through, and Altaria is able to farm down all the way. So the play there for Inadequence would have been to shield the Body Slam. Moving on to the next game against Sandudu, and once again Bibi decides to ban the Fairy type and Steel type to make Altaria super strong. And then he tries to catch the first charge move, but Sandudu is not going to throw immediately, and he overfarms a bunch before throwing the Psycho Boost and goes into the matchup with Shadow Drapion. And this is actually not that good of a matchup, even though the Shadow Drapion resists the Licks. They are still going to deal 2 damage each, which adds up, and together with the Body Slams, Shadow Drapion is going to be forced to shield if he wants to win this matchup. And then Shadow Drapion is just not able to farm down with fast moves because Poison Sting is so weak, so he's forced to throw 1 more charge move. And of course Bibi is not going to shield that because he only has 1 HP, and you still deal 1 HP through a shield. And then Sandudu blindly throws an Aqua Tail into the Altaria and goes into Lickitung. So at this point now it's completely over actually already, because the double shielded Altaria is going to easily be able to handle both the Deoxys and low HP Drapion in the back. So at this point, Bibi is actually the only undefeated player left in the tournament. So if Silph had some different rules, it could have been over here already. But they have some weird tournament rules where the undefeated player is forced to defend the undefeated spot for 2 more rounds, since at the beginning of the tournament they were 65 or more players. So Bibi will still have to defend his spot as the winner of this tournament. So right now we're just gonna see the Altaria farm down the Drapion, and it has basically 2 Sky attacks, and it's going to be enough to KO the Deoxys. Moving on to the next game against Leonardo, which is the #1 ranked player in the world, so this is a very tough opponent. But once again Bibi is going to ban the Steel type and the Fairy type, so Altaria can go wild. And during the tournament Bibi even mentioned that no one knows how to ban in this format, because everyone is just letting his Altaria go wild, which is pretty funny. But anyways, Bibi shielded the first charge move from this Cresselia because he knows that it carries Future Sight, and he knows that he will be forced to shield once in this matchup if he wants to win it. So therefore he shielded the first charge move because that's the least likely to be a bait. And then Leonardo is also shielding to connect with 1 more Future Sight, but it's not gonna take out the Lickitung. And then he comes back in with Lickitung, and Bibi counter switches into Altaria and goes straight into the Sky attack. So at this point Bibi knows that the Sableye in the back is going to go up against the Alola Ninetales. So the win con here is to let Alola Ninetales not get hit by a return, and then he's going to win the game as long as Leonardo doesn't catch. But of course there's no way that Bibi is going to let Leonardo catch a move when they have the same, but both are 2-turn fast moves. So all he needs to do is desync and throw his charge move during one of the animations from the Sableye. So now Bibi is in a winning position. He just waits for Leonardo to try to catch, and then he can connect with a Dazzling Gleam and KO this Sableye. Moving on to the last game of the main bracket, and Bibi leads with Alola Ninetales into a Lickitung. So here he makes 5 Powder Snows before switching out, so that was not an attempt to catch a move, but rather it was that he wanted to bank a move, and then hopefully Maxie also switches out so that Bibi can maneuver and get the Umbreon onto the Lickitung later in the game. But it did not work out as he wanted, because Maxie reads this and stays in with Lickitung, which is a great play. So now it's a quite boring mirror matchup, so instead we're gonna talk about the bans. Bibi went with the same as always, but Maxie actually banned the Altaria. So Bibi's main game plan that he's been very successful with the entire tournament, to just ban the Altaria counters and have Altaria as a clean answer to everything, it does not work anymore, sadly. So now we are in Umbreon versus Medicham. This is not terrible for Umbreon, even though it's not good, but if the opposing Medicham does not throw any charge moves, Umbreon will be able to reach 4 charge moves and force both of the shields. So Maxie starts shielding his Medicham, and then he's at a lot of energy, but he throws right before the next charge move from Umbreon. And then Bibi went in to hopefully farm down with Alola Ninetales, but Maxie switches into the Lickitung again, and now Bibi takes it out with a Weather Ball and 1 Lick. And then Venusaur is in the back, so there's still a chance to win this if Bibi can connect with a Powder Snow onto Venusaur. And Maxie recognized this, so he's definitely not going to shield the Body Slams. He needs the shield for Weather Ball in case it comes in. And of course Bibi is going to shield up this Frenzy Plant, and then the Medicham comes in, and here Bibi has to make a guess. Is this the Ice Punch or the Psychic? And he guesses wrong, and turns out it's the Ice Punch, and then a Psychic takes out the Alolan Ninetales. So Maxie is actually able to defeat Bibi and take this to a tiebreaker situation. Moving on to the semifinals, and here Bibi is up against Nesabethan and leads with a Medicham against the opposing Altaria, and that's not a matchup that Bibi likes to play in when the Medicham is energy dry, so he switches out, and hopefully he can get some farm down with Medicham later in the game so that he has energy to throw some Ice Punches on the Altaria. And here Nesa made a great play to farm down just enough on Shadow Nidoqueen so that the Umbreon will be able to take it down with just 1 foul play. If he had switched earlier, then the Umbreon would need 2 foul plays to KO this Shadow Nidoqueen, and then Nesa would have to shield once to beat it. So a great play by him, but now here Bibi gets the farm down that he wanted. So if Nesa comes back in with Altaria, then Bibi is going to spam out some Ice Punches. And then Bibi makes a great catch on the Body Slam here, because he does not want to let the Medicham go down with all of that energy. And he doesn't want to waste his last shield either. And here it's a fairly neutral matchup, as long as Umbreon is not hit by the Moonblast. So he shields and he calls the nuke. So now Bibi farms up as much energy as possible and goes for a foul play. It almost takes out the Altaria, but it survives and it's just able to reach 1 Sky Attack. So now it's just the Umbreon and Medicham, both with some excess energy against the full health, or almost full health Lickitung. And Lickitung also had a shield, but he's forced to throw here to not get hit by the next charge move from Umbreon, and Bibi has plenty of energy on his Medicham, so 1 Psychic is almost going to be able to KO this Lickitung, and then it can just do 1 more counter to win. Moving on into the grand finals against Maxie, and Maxie also won his semi-final and is so far the only player to beat Bibi in a best of 3 in this tournament. So both players lead with Altaria, and Bibi tries to catch as always, because he wants his Altaria to stay as healthy as possible, because it's so strong against Maxie's entire team. And then Maxie for some reason decides to stay in, which means that the switch timers are now desynced, which is gonna be very important later. So Maxie now goes into the mirror with Lickitung and throws a Body Slam, and Bibi is going to save all of this energy and go straight into Umbreon as soon as the timer is up, because now this is a much better matchup for Umbreon than for Lickitung, because the Licks only deal 1 damage and Umbreon is just going to spam down this Lickitung. So Umbreon just gets so much value in this matchup and can always farm up to basically 100 energy between the charge moves, so that it's very versatile for whenever Maxie decides to switch out. But this Lickitung is reaching 1 more Body Slam and is in range of farm down, and Maxie decides to save it with like 1 HP left, so that means that he can use it as a shield later in the game. And the last Pokemon is a Sableye, so that's great for Umbreon. Umbreon is just gonna spam out all of these charge moves, and Bibi knows that he can survive a foul play no problem. And then he even dared to do 1 more Snarl, which was very brave. 2 Shadow Claws might have been able to take down the Umbreon there, but Bibi knows exactly how much damage they deal, so it was not really close in the end. So Bibi is going to shield the Moonblast and farm down, and at this point it's completely over. There is nothing else that Maxie can do to save this position, and Bibi wins the finals without having a single Pokemon KO'd. So great play by Bibi, GG's, and well played, congratulations, and thanks for watching.